mic.
I'm going to start this podcast and I'm going to introduce this podcast with having 3 lads in the room. So if there's any giggles going on in the background, we all know what's going on. But so today I have Billy on my podcast, and this is the first one that I'm actually recording on camera. So how does it feel to be the first one on my podcast, video recorded?
What a privilege. Happy for you to have me on today. So looking forward to getting to have a chat and seeing where it goes.
Delighted to have you on board, Billy. So what I want you to do is to introduce yourself as who is the Billy that I'm speaking to today.
Billy today, someone who's come over from England, been here about a year and a little bit now. Went into 2022 with a new vision, new mindset, and just figuring it out along the way.
And what kind of gauge you to come to Dubai? Because I know you've not really been here that long.
Yeah. So essentially, literally, COVID. That's just like the short answer. So I actually had some good things in the pipeline for the start of 2021. So I thought I'd come out here for Christmas, come and enjoy it. My friend Mitch told me to come over and come and stop over with him. While I was over here, he's just spent the whole holiday saying to me, I should just stay. And I was like, you're being silly. What do you mean stay? He was like, no, you should stay. I was like, well, I've got one suitcase. I've still got my house back home. The car's on my drive. I've got work. There's no way. And just every single day. I entertained it slightly, but it was like, it's not sensible. Remember the date, 4th of Jan, 2021.
Well, can I stop you there for a second? Because you just want to pull up that responsible response that you had there. What made you feel like it wasn't responsible? Was it society, or was it like, your family at home that was making you not feel like it was a responsible thing to do, to just get up and leave?
It was a bit of everything, to be fair. I think I've always been used to just staying within my comfort zone. Like, I'll push myself, but not too much. And essentially to just know that I've just come out on holiday and there's all these things at home, from work to a lot of responsibility as well. Yeah, not realising that I could actually just let that go and go in a sensible manner. There was ways of doing about it, but again, I'm a very big overthinker. So as soon as even the thought was entertained, I'm there thinking, there's no way I can do this. And again, like I said, reading off a list. And yeah, like I said, it took for another lockdown, which was like the 4th of Jan, like was announced. And I could have went back home and again, just end up in this kind of like mediocre, just doing the boring same, not really doing much, don't know when we're going to get out. And I thought, this is not me. This is not what I grew up and said that I wanted to be. And that literally was kind of the final straw that made me think, you know what? I've got nothing to lose. And then that was when the focus just started to switch. And it's just been changing ever since.
So with you saying you're a bit of an overthinker, do you think that's been ingrained in you since you're a child, or do you think that's something that's kind of newly happened?
Yeah, 100%. Growing up in a single parent household, you tend to, like, as much as I would speak with my mom, there weren't many people that I could go out and be open to. Believe it or not, when I was younger, I'd think less and speak more.
Yeah.
And based on action, decisions, experiences, that changed how open I actually was. And again, like I said, then all it ended up doing is I just put it in the back of my head, get on with life and just keep going with it. And then, in the end, that's probably what molded, my circumstances probably what molded me into overthinking and taking things on board and literally like holding on to things.
See, the thing is, I think possibly when you're overthinking now rather than when you were a child, it's because when you're so naive when you're a child, you haven't got the fear inside you, you're just kind of fearless. So definitely now, obviously as an adult, you have a lot more to lose. Well, you think you have a lot more to lose because you have a lot more responsibilities.
And again, this is something that, like, as my focus started to switch, as I came out of this environment that I was stuck in, because it was just everything that I knew or thought I knew. And when I had I don't want to say like the bravery to kind of just say, you know what, I deserve better, I will do better, and I took that plunge. From there, like I said, the focus just switched, and then like you said, like that fear and that side of things and opening up, I've realised how much importance it is. Even us sitting here today, this wouldn't be something that I would do as much just as an open conversation. Maybe to a couple of close friends, as experiences again with like friends, partners, family. didn't have the most pleasant experiences with that, with trusting people more than I should have gave them. It was very difficult for me to kind of talk without emotion being involved. But like I said, as I get older and as experience has taught me, it's a lot easier to basically sit here today and be an open book as such as well.
As you just mentioned there about trust, it seems like you didn't have a lot of trust in your own family and friends back home, did you, growing up?
Well, essentially, at the start I did, but it was the constant getting scorned and the constant being let down, giving someone more power and ownership over me than they deserved. Again, not understanding the reality of energy and how it's a two-way thing, and me overcompensating myself, probably because of that need of wanting to feel needed, wanting accepted, that side of feelings would have obviously had a major impact in the decisions I was making. So everyone that I always opened up to was probably not the best thing to do, but I couldn't comprehend that.
Do you think, like, then when you were kind of being open-minded to some people, they led you down the kind of road of disappointment?
Yeah, basically, yeah, because I expected too much of them, but their expectancy came from myself. A lot of the things that I could have answered myself, I just assumed that, by me being open, by me being extra nice, by me doing that little bit extra, that it will come back on me, like I'll finally get what I deserve. And yeah, like I said, it took a lot to get to the point to be able to speak about that and be, like I said, to have that conversation. Like,
what was the last straw with you then? Because it sounds like you've kind of gotten to a stage where you were just like, no, I've had enough.
You know what? It sounds crazy because, like I said, my focus has switched this year as such. There was things, I'd say, the build-up started probably from like my ex-partner, my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
So after that experience ended, there was a lot that went on in around that time where it was a very challenging period. A lot changed because, again, how I saw the world and how I saw situations and stuff completely changed, and my mind changed to it. So that was kind of the starting point, I would say, to a lot of it. There was other opportunities in which I could have, but again, my mind wasn't ready to open up. And even when I look now from that period of time to where I am now, the change, how drastic it's been from a mental perspective, from a physical perspective, from just my environment, my settings, it's actually been a lot bigger than I thought. At the time, I'm thinking, it's not good enough. I don't know what's going on.
It's gradual though, isn't it? Yeah. It's really, really gradual. You don't actually notice it when you're in the midst of things. And then it's like, when you're that far ahead, you're like, wow, oh my God, like how far have I actually come?
Yeah, exactly. And then I think even me coming here, I didn't have the best experience in the sense of, again, slightly falling back into old habits because I was in a new environment. I was falling back into, I'm in a new environment now. So yeah, I could trust people here, or I can be quite, so almost getting back into that comfort zone. It's a new start, it's fresh, but I was still being old Billy. Yeah. Old Billy who's overcompensating, over-friendly, trying too hard to kind of fit in somewhere, and it just didn't make no sense.
You catch yourself, don't you? It's funny because I feel like I was a bit of a crowd pleaser, you know, as in you try to be a people pleaser, but when you please other people, then you stop being kind of your full self, you know? You stop
being true to yourself. You believe by making other people happy that you're going to be happy, or by being, like you said, that person who, yes sir, no sir, you know, you're going to suddenly change the way that your life is. And the craziest moment, like I said, the switch point is like, in the end of the day, you have every single answer to survive on this earth.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot to get to that. And it does take a lot of setbacks, and it takes a lot of challenges. And you can be two types of people. You can either fall in that, keep feeling sorry for yourself, why always me, why always me? Or actually, why is this happening to me? And this is something now that when any situation, whether it's good, bad, challenging, whatever comes across now, I'm always thinking about it now, going, okay, so why has that happened? What did I learn from it? What am I meant to learn? How do I move forward? Where before I'd let it bury me.
Yeah.
And then I'll just let it bury me and just get on with it. But I'm carrying this baggage. And I was like, I don't need to carry this stuff anymore. So it was a bit of an enlightenment in that sense, where it was like, why am I holding on to all these things? Why? Like, who's telling me what? Why have I allowed myself to be this way? But again, I don't hate the old me, because again, that's what's helped me become who I'm trying to be now. And I'm doing this, like I said, for my future self, for my future generation that I hope to welcome in this world. I do see myself one day to be settled down, to have children. And I want to be healed as I can be, to make sure that they don't carry on the scars and the damage that I didn't work out on. And I do believe a lot of people don't do that. And then they go into relationships have children, or the commitments fall into play, and then they find it really hard, and then they always find, why am I bouncing back and forth, back and forth? I know everything's not as easy, like I said, the book, going from stage all the way down to the end of the book, that's never going to be the case, and there will be challenges, and I think that's something now that I'm able to accept and comprehend, where before I could do something in a big way really well, something throws me off, and then I start thinking, am I good enough? Why is this happening? And I was letting it overwhelm me, where now I embrace everything that I'm facing, and I believe I will obviously overcome anything that's set in front of my path, however challenging, however confusing at the time. Even if I don't understand it, I will learn to understand it. Maybe not straight away, but I won't let it consume my energy in that way, because I deserve better, I will be better. And that's something that's kept me focused.
With obviously this, like, it sounds like you've gone through a lot of self-development. From my understanding, like, have you had any real difficulties with your mental health?
Oh yeah, no, of course. And again, this is a conversation that if you asked me this, say, years ago, it'd be very difficult for me to really open up and stuff. But the more that I've developed and the more that I've understood myself, and a lot of it took me understanding myself, because again, I just didn't want to be that person who keeps relying on help and needs support and needs this sort of thing. So yeah, I faced challenges.
What kind of challenges were they? Would you
just from like general, so like from childhood, like I said, growing up in that broken home experience. I won't go into too much detail, but like in family circumstances, it wasn't the best household to wake up. No fault of my mother's, but again, she was in a sense of a victim by her own regard. Again, being the person that I was growing up being, which was being too nice, being too forgiving, allowing for certain behaviours to happen. And yeah, that was a big challenge, because I just didn't understand it. Because again, I was the child who went to school, read the storybook that says mum and dad at home, brother and sister, you got grandma and grandfather, you have your aunties and uncles, that's the way that I grew up. I was a happy child. I was never ever like that sort of thing. So then when things weren't working out the way that I read or was told or watched, it just really confused me. It just didn't make no sense. So yeah, there's been a lot of challenges. So to stem from childhood, one of the conversations I had with my mum, again, mine and her relation probably wasn't the best through my teenage years, because again, it was a lot of me having to figure myself out. Now our relationship is probably the best it's ever been. We understand each other. And one of the things that we had a conversation about is like the maturity that I've shown and grown up. She can see that as well. She said, despite everything that you've had, every challenge you had, she goes, I've tried my best. And she has. I've never ever not thought she'd never tried her best. We just, like I said, we was both in a stage where we both needed help. And we're trying to rely on each other. But realistically, we weren't strong enough to do so. Where now I do believe that I'm a lot stronger than that. And learning from, like I said, my mum's lessons, I don't like to call them mistakes, and even from my lessons and trying to develop that way as well.
I think during certain periods in your life as well, as parents, like what they're doing is they're giving their very best at that exact time, whether or not that was enough for you at that time. It's that they didn't understand that. They didn't feel what you were feeling at the time as well.
Like with my mum, like I said, she did everything that she could have done. Raised up, I was never neglected. I was never that case. But again, like I said, because of the image that I painted in my head, how family should be and how everything else, and when it didn't add up, like I said, mum, dad, brothers, sisters, this side of things, like seeing that kind of complete thing. And then when I was looking outdoors, looking at other people, and I could see mum and dad and they're having fun, and dads and children, and there's a togetherness. There was none of this kind of whatever was going on behind doors, but that's not what I saw. I was going, hang on, how come they can do that? And then that was a very big challenge. But like I said, I can't fault my mum anything at all. The only thing that we have this conversation to this day now is like, when you knew that this thing weren't right or whatever, why did you allow that? And she went, because I was too forgiving and I was too thankful, and I'm glad that you've learned from, like I said, my challenges and my lessons. So she has been a great teacher in that sense. Like, I didn't almost want to grow up and have that same impact like there, because she always, like I said, we've grown up in that circumstances. She never had the best of childhoods growing up as well. Them challenges, again, not dealing with the trauma and then going forward and thinking, like I said, I've got children now, I'm going to be married, I'm going to be happy. And like I said, these things didn't work out again for her in the way that they should have worked out. So like I said, she went through a lot. and then like I said, I'm guessing that you are your environment. So I'm growing up around this.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm witnessing and waking up to. So yeah, I would say it would have a big impact, but it wasn't intentional. So it wasn't like I was neglected or I always had food on the plate. If I wanted the latest trainers, a computer game, whatever, my mum would go above and beyond. I remember times I was bullied at school. My mum would go out and go and defend me like she was everything that you needed to be.
Do you think the bullying situation that you've had in school as well has made a massive impact in who you are today?
Now when I look at it, I think to myself, why did I allow it to just overconsume it? Again, they played on insecurities in terms of, like I said, that I had as I was growing up. Whether that comes that whether you get taught that in a household or whether I'm not too sure. I can't really say, but essentially, a lot of the things that happened in my life, like before I used to hate things happen that didn't probably work out the way that I thought it was. Now I'm grateful for everything because now I understand. That's it. That's it. It makes sense. Now it's like, you know what? If it wasn't for, okay, I might have made this decision or whatever, but this is how you learn. This is the experiences, and this is how you really go on to pass on this information to, like I said, whether it is your children, whether it is someone in educational purpose, whether it is your friend who's in need and needs help. Actually being genuine about, like, it's not about me. It's about actually, I figured myself out, and I'm not trying to fix or do that with anyone else. But you know what? Like, I know what it feels like to be at the lowest of lows. I know what it feels like to not want to be underserved. I know what it feels like to be at the highest of the highs. I felt all emotion, but I used to, like I said, let it consume. So when I'm around people, if I ever see them down or I don't see them with that confidence, I spot it very, very quickly. Yeah. And I feel this constant need to be as helpful as can say, everything's going to be all right. Like, trust me, it will be all right. When you start believing it's all right, it will start to get all right. So
when you just said about, like, obviously being on Earth here, was there a time that you felt like you just didn't
that was it. Yeah, I got to a point when, like I said, that this was me. I'm done.
And when was that? What kind of scenario did that look like?
Again, like, it was a very dark place. It was very hard. I just felt like there was nowhere left to turn. And when I think of how low I got to that point, when I felt that dark, that there was no way out, no sort of, like, there was no other way. That was just the only way that would be enough. I'm grateful that I said that I had the courage and the mindset to overcome it. And it wasn't a cry for help. If anything, it was a case of, like I said, it was like, again, the way that I was structured, the way I grew up, the way that I thought that, someone's going to save you, someone's going to help you. Yeah. That person's going to be a father figure, or, that person's going to be your friend, or this person's going to love you, like, unconditionally. Yeah. These sort of feelings that I was trying to find from everyone else, I could do that, but I just didn't realise.
Do you think it's, like, quite difficult now for you to actually, like, have a loving relationship now in the future?
No.
Like, do you think it's gonna be hard work for you?
There was a time when I thought that would be the case, and that would probably be after the scars that were left upon me through my ex relationship, like with my ex, and what followed and continued with that. I thought, this is going to be a challenge. I don't entertain the fact now, but this is why a lot of the work that I'm doing now is so that I can actually get what I deserve. I always believe everyone that's put in, this is something that not always believe, now I start to believe that everyone that's put in your life is there for a reason. Yeah. Whether it's, like I said, a test, a challenge, whether they're meant to stay there or go, whether it's passing by, whether they stay for a long period of time and then leave. No one's ever meant to be there to that extent.
It's a lesson, and I think we need to look at relationships like that as well, not to be so bitter. Be bitter about bad things that have happened, or if your relationship has ran its course as well. Look at it as like, oh well, that was a happy day at some stage, and even the bad days as well, you've learned something from it, and you know not to make that mistake again in the future that you have.
100%, and that's, again, like I said, so I don't believe that it will affect me in the future, because when I decide that I'm ready to go and take this opportunity, I'm hoping I'm in a position now where I've done all this inner work, this outer work, and pushing myself to be the best version of myself. And now the energy that I'm around, and I see changes just in general, everyday life. Like I said, from this change here and how the last couple of years have been changing for me. I can see that will be something. So I don't believe it will be difficult to do so, because that's the whole point, to get over these things that I used to let hold and not let them consume my future self. Like, it's happened, you learn and you move forward, and that's what I'm hoping will happen from that.
I know you're really stripping bare and digging in really deep now to like do the inner work on yourself. Do you kind of find that, you know, you focusing on yourself a little bit so much because you want to heal all this trauma? Do you feel like sometimes you can be open to like knocking people away a little bit because you're so self-focused, you know?
I'm very welcoming to people because I'm mindful of how you're actually, no matter what you're doing, whether I'm having a bad day, happy day, whatever it is, that's not no one else's fault. So if I've decided to work on myself, that doesn't mean that I still can't be available in the sense of being able to communicate with someone. So as long as I communicate this, which again I've learned as I go older, that you communicate why you're doing what you're doing, but there's no reason why you can't have that conversation, then no, not at all. And I always believe it. Now I don't dismiss anything. Before I'd be like, oh, I'm not check that person, or I'm not going to take that opportunity, or I'm not going to go and do this. When now in my mind it's like, I will still have that conversation. I don't know where it's going to lead. I'm not expecting it to lead anywhere. But I will entertain the conversation, and that's it. Now I'm letting things run its course naturally, as opposed to expecting too much or too less, or saying, oh, someone wants more of me or not. I will have that conversation, because that's what I believe is a big key factor. Something I never, as much as I love talking, I didn't really talk. I was just talking surface. I weren't really going deep in. And that's why I said now it's very important with my future self, whether I have children, whether it's a partner, family, friends, just be open and communicate. They might not understand it. But as long as you've explained it the best way that you can, that's all you've done. That's your answering for yourself. And that's an important factor.
I kind of feel like when you have that expectation on someone, or you feel a little bit disappointed, I think it comes around full circle back to you. And it's like, hold on a second, why am I feeling like this? Like, you know, I shouldn't feel like I have an expectation on you when we have a conversation, or we sit down and it's like, you feel that empty. Maybe you might come away and you feel a bit empty. You're like, what is this telling me? You know, and it's really important that you're so aware of that now, that you can actually take this as data nearly for yourself to be like, hold on a second, like I need to learn something from this. But people aren't this aware, you know, they're not that emotionally aware. And I just feel like, you know, obviously having these kind of conversations now, like the listener can open their ears and actually think a little bit for themselves and actually reflect how they feel when they come away from conversations that don't really sit right with them.
You don't have, that's another thing as well. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I always have. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to change that. But I've learned how to control that heart a little bit more. And again, I don't have it figured out. I'm not some mental guru, or I'm going to change whatever. But a lot of this stuff I did when I actually started listening to myself. And that's really crazy to say that, because what do you mean listen to myself? Most of our thoughts go over and repeat, and we're overthinking, and we're going across, and all this kind of, for so many years of my life, like I said, I'm 32, turned 33 this year, like so many years of my life, it was always, oh, that person's going to help me, or that person's going to do this and whatever. And I was to start actually helping myself. And again, I don't claim to know everything, but I'll tell you what, this last 4.5 months, especially the change, like I'm seeing each month, each day, the mindset, the focus. Like I said, I'm having this conversation with you now, and I don't think I would be as open to this, but this is something that I want to be able to help people in the future as well, to be able to say, you know what, there is someone out there that has had struggles and had battles. My friends, people around me, family, people have seen me where it didn't look like, I don't know what's going to go on here, to then see where I am now and what I'm doing. And I'm saying that, taking that away from like not me being in Dubai or something. It's a nice place to be in and stuff. But essentially just the change, the shift in my mindset, my mental health, my relationships now, the way that I'm communicating. Some people say, oh, you're a little bit, you don't talk as much now. And I realised, well, why do I need to? Like, if I want to, fill in the gaps. Well, that's what I used to do before. It's like, I need to tell people, and because if I had good news, I wanted to share it with everyone. But that doesn't always reflect or bode well. Where now it's like, you go and pass it, and if you want to share it, you share it. And if you don't, it's not the end of the world. Like, this is your journey. This is for you to decide how you write the book. And I think that's where I've realised now, I've got the book, I've got the pen. And that's how it's going to go, like, so.
I noticed that myself with my own relationships in terms of even, like, you know, like, relationships with the opposite sex, you know, sometimes I'd be, like, trying to fill a gap, trying to fill a void all the time. And I was like, hold on a second, where's this stemming from? And actually where it was stemming from was the fact that I actually I know this might sound a bit woo-woo, but I didn't love myself enough. And that was it. There was a missing part to the puzzle, and that was why I was trying to always fill the gaps all the time. And it's until you actually realise that as well, you're gonna keep landing on the wrong people as well, because you're trying to entertain everyone else, and then you get so exhausted that you don't actually reflect on yourself and what's going on, because you're giving from an empty cup then.
Yeah, no, 100%. I completely agree with that. Like, I'm not going out there and now and saying I'm some sort of saint or anything like that to experience. But again, like I said, the way that you're feeling within yourself will reflect. It's like a highlight. You are like this big torch, and you're going to shine on not necessarily always the right thing that's for you and stuff. But even that now, like before, that would I was like, why is this happening? Like, how have I got it so wrong? Why have I let? Where it's now, I understand more. Like, I actually look into it a lot deeper without letting it consume me. And a big thing has been in that factor, and probably more so since this year, and I'd say probably in the last couple of months, thinking about forgiveness, and forgiveness for myself more than anyone else. And it wasn't that I hated anyone, I've never ever hated anyone, but when I say forgiveness, it's things that I'm holding on to. So I'm trying to forgive it in my mind and say, look, whether I've hurt someone, or whether they've hurt me, whether I've done something wrong, or whether someone's done something wrong to me, I want to forgive it. When I say forget it enough to be not consuming me, but learn from the lesson and to be able to move forward. And that's them small things like that where I've realised actually forgiveness was an ego thing as well. Yeah. It is ego, and it will make it very difficult because that person's done so much wrong to me. Yeah. And I don't even wish bad upon people now as well, but I say the universe will always sort itself out. Yeah. The Almighty has a big plan for everyone as well, whether people believe in God, whether they believe in spirit, whether there is always, you will attract what you believe and what you are bringing on in terms of that. But I think it's definitely something that, forgiveness has been a big thing, which I'm starting to learn, and I don't have it all yet. Some things are harder to forgive in my mind, in my body, than others.
It's work. People don't actually realise that this is work, though, you know?
But I know, again, my future self is going to be thankful. Yeah. And the future generations that I'm going to be welcoming, even like my nieces, my nephews, if I'm going to have future nephews, and like my sisters, my brother, like, look, these people that I'm around, I work in educational purposes, like people I'm around and stuff like this, to make them understand that there is a way out, there is a way forward, and there is a way to continuously keep going that way. And if you have to stop, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Which again used to be my problem, was like, oh, I'm not moving, I don't know what's going on, and then I've let it overconsume, maybe I'm doing something wrong, then the insecurities come back in, and then the self-doubt, and then the bad words that I had from like the wrong people around me, they start playing the end, maybe they were right, and you fight in that demon.
But it's being able to like divide in yourself in between this old identity that you had, you know, before. If you can separate the two and identify the fact that all these old thoughts, that this is old Billy, you can bridge the gap then from A to B way bigger, way further. When you're that self-aware of what you are right now, it's easier then for you to be able to acknowledge and sit back like a passenger and watch those thoughts just pass by and say, look, that's not serving me right now. That was old Billy, you know?
No, 100%. I agree. And I think, like I said, everything is time, but it's something that I know we don't know how much time we have on this earth. But essentially, even when we go away from it, I do believe in the afterlife in the sense of like, we are a spirit, we are a soul. So even anything that you learn and take away from this, you will take away with you in the right way. So it's never too late to learn. Yeah. And that's a big thing. I'm a bit older now, or I'm settled down now. And you fall into that, and you see that, and society don't help with that. And again, we look for icons, help, like I said, some sort of like role models or something like that. And especially more so the ones who are naturally unhappy and never really had someone sitting down and talking to them from a very early age. But I always believe when the time's right and you allow it to be right, you will find your steps. You'll find the steps. You can see a path. And this before, I would have to see the clear path all the way through. When now I'm trusting step at a time, and working through like that.
So I'm going to bring you right back, because I feel like we actually never even talked about what's your occupation now. What do you actually do now? I know we've gotten into like all the deep stuff straight away. I'm like, so what does Billy actually do?
Just sleep, loads of sleeping as the boys retire from the apartment. No, so like I'm a personal trainer, but I don't even like to use that word. I'd say I'm a coach.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because I'm there working on habits. I'm there trying to help people develop things that become a habit, as opposed to just saying, put A to B or A to Z and that's it. There's a bigger purpose to them. I want them to understand that, make this process a part of your lifestyle. It's not just a here and now thing. I might be a here and now thing, but the actual process and what we're engaging in, whether it's 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, I'm hoping that is a journey that you take away enough to be able to walk that path and have the right guidance to be able to, anytime you get slightly lost, I'm there. But essentially, the whole idea is to build that confidence and give you that step. That's my main background. I've also been a sports coach as well, something that I've took a back step of. So I was working in like academies and schools and teaching children. Again, love helping people and being able to motivate and push on the next generation. That is something that's really exciting to me, to be that positivity that a lot of them, sometimes you don't even actually know that you need that.
Yeah.
And to be able to take any of that experience away and to help them grow. So it's something that I'd like to get back into. And then, like I said, the whole idea, the end goal of this kind of thing would be looking at that kind of life coaching role, what we're doing now, podcasts, to be able to help people in different types of capacity and to let them, and make it, it's not about money for me. It sounds crazy to say that, but we all need money to survive. But my genuine interest to get into coaching, whether it was like sports, whether it's in the gym, whether it's speaking and life coaching and so on and so on, was to actually genuinely help people.
Yeah.
Because when I was searching for the answers and I was leaning on the wrong people, that also had an impact in where I was going.
Yeah.
So I have a genuine interest that there is people out there that need less and need a bit of support, but giving them enough help to kind of get them back on track to go across. So I'm in a world now where I have knowledge. I don't need to go to the grave of it. I need to be able to, I've learned a lot on this earth, and I'd like to try and give as much as I can in a helpful manner to people out there as well.
When you're confident with your knowledge as well, it's like you just want to give back and that's when you truly believe in yourself, when you know you have the knowledge. It's like there's a difference in between just knowing information and actually physically knowing this stuff, And it's like the pennies kind of dropped with you, definitely, for sure. Anyway, even in the past couple of months since I've met you, I can see a difference in yourself as well, which is amazing. Like, it's actually amazing to see.
And that's the thing, like, what I sit back sometimes and pinch myself, and like I said, I don't rest too much on anything now because it's just another step. But it is like when I look back at it, and I think, man, like there is that old me bit that creeps in the middle of me. Why didn't you figure this out sooner? Because look how life feels. It's warm, it's bubbly. And don't get me wrong, it's not always warm and bubbly, but it's a lot warmer than what it has been.
Yeah.
But when it's not so warm, because I've made sure that I've left enough layers there, I can still keep myself, like I'm not going to freeze, I'm not going to fall off track. And that's something that's amazing, knowing your worth. Like, you are you, no one else can do that, that's your power. I'm a big believer in it. Like I said, the lads always like have a crack, because having that sort of chat with lads, it doesn't really like register as much. It's like, what do you mean? You mean this and that. But there is a deeper like feeling to me and stuff like that. And like I said, again, I'm not this magical sort of character that's coming out into play and stuff, but I tell you what, a lot of the things I'm learning, to me, to know that I have been the lowest of lows and getting to this point now, it's a really, really exciting journey for sure.
I think lads are getting way better at talking about their emotions anyway, for sure, now in this day and age, don't you think?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. It has improved, but I do believe you still have that kind of old school mentality of, oh, now what do you mean? Or that some people don't understand. But again, that used to really throw me off. Like, someone don't understand me, or maybe I'm doing something wrong. Where now I'd say it's not for them to understand, as long as you can explain yourself. But essentially, you're doing this for you. You're not doing it for them. So no matter what you do in life, someone will always have a judgment. Someone will always have something to say, whether it's right, wrong, or whatever. That's your decision to make, and it's for you to figure out along the way. And even if it doesn't work out the way that you had it in your mind, that doesn't mean all of a sudden that person was right, because you figured that out for yourself. So it's only going to set you up for good stead going forward as well.
On this little self-development journey that you've been on, has there been like a role model for you that kind of lit the fire inside you just to kind of take action?
I wouldn't say so much of that. Like I said, I think it was just basically understanding that I wanted more for myself.
Sometimes I think though, you kind of realise other people are kind of getting after things, and it's like, hang on a second, why can't I not do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Was anyone kind of a grid marker for you?
Not necessarily, to be fair. I mean, like I said, I'd watch like To be fair, actually, a good like influence on me was I had a spirit guide when I was in the UK when I was going through like little bits and bobs.
Wait, for the average listener, what's a spirit guide?
Spirit guide, someone you almost say like a bit of a counsellor in a sense as well, but someone who's going a bit deeper and beyond than the usual. Oh, hello, hi, whatever. It was actually the first person that I was introduced to that I didn't have to explain anything to. They actually told me what was going on, and I was going, no, how? Like, I haven't said nothing. Like, how are they putting the dots together?
How did you get in contact with this person?
So it was through a mutual friend. So I know her daughter, and it's her daughter who reached out to me and spoke to me about saying, I really think that you actually have a good chat with my mum. But the thing was, her daughter wouldn't have known of anything that was going on. She just knew that I wasn't probably in the best of places, but she wouldn't have known anything. But it was just like, she plugged everything together, because in the past I've always had to explain myself or felt I had to. So probably one of the things why I probably swayed away from going to see a counsellor or anything like that, because I'm sick and tired of just explaining myself. Like, someone should know.
See, when you're saying you're explaining yourself, are you the type of person that's always like, oh, sorry, if you nudge off someone, or would you
Yeah, I would always, because I'm always mindful of my environment. So, make people how you want them to feel. So if someone bumped into me and didn't say that, I'd be thinking, like, well, what's going on? So I think respect, energy, I'm a big believer in that side of things.
Do you know what, Irish people often, they answer the phone, and they answer the phone or any kind of conversation, and they say, oh, sorry. And I said this to someone before, and they were like, what are you sorry for? You sound like you're lacking a bit of confidence.
Yeah.
Don't say sorry, honey. Someone said that to me, and I was like, oh, actually, that's kind of a funny way to look at it, but it's just like a lot of the time I'd just be apologetic,
Of course, and I think, like I said, again, that's a perspective of someone, so the way that they've created that mindset to them, it makes sense to them. But I still do believe, like I said, obviously don't overdo things as such like that, but essentially I do believe, like, if I budge into someone, of course I'm going to say, I don't think that will change. But like, going back to this lady, honestly, like, she helped like clear a picture through like a darker time, because again, I just could not see anything beyond that. Like we were speaking earlier on. And it was like the first time when I went, wow, this person's figured themselves out. They've somehow managed to kind of give me a little bit more understanding. And because of that, it was the first person I actually officially trusted in a very long time. I felt confident. I trusted the words that were coming out of this person's mouth, and I knew I wasn't being led astray. That's when I started to develop that kind of bit of there was little signs, we weren't figured out there as such, and I don't think I was completely ready. Well, you could say that, but I was ready because I've had that conversation with the person. So I was ready as I could be at that time.
It's funny how a stranger can sometimes, like, dig in a little bit deeper than actually the person that you're closest with, like a family or a friend member. It's really weird how a stranger can sometimes like make you analyze life from a different perspective, because it's kind of like, well, actually, hang on a second, you're not complacent with them, you're not comfortable with them, it kind of flick a switch. And a lot of people, I find, when people have a turning point in their lives, it does stem from a stranger's interaction.
So I think that would probably be one of my positive influences within recent times, which basically ignited the change. It was someone as well where I did feel slightly lonely, that I knew that actually I didn't feel vulnerable around them. I was happy to just be me without the mask. And when I say mask,
I mean, judgment.
There was nothing there. I could just be, I didn't have to say the right words or be that person that everyone else like knew. And again, like I said, I would almost say that I did wear a lot of masks in my younger days, in the sense of being the people that I thought people wanted to see. So I was always over happy or zealous, making jokes and this side of things. And that wasn't always me. Like, and it's a case of I was overdoing it sometimes, and then I'm draining myself because I'm
stems from a place of lack. That's all it is,
And again, like I said, so she helped me uncover that. That was like this first journey. She got me into meditating and looking down that sort of path. As I started to go into meditation, then you start looking at different types of scholars, different successful guys. I wouldn't say anyone specifically stood out as such, but it was just, I just watch it. I weren't interested in who that person was or whatever. I just was happy to just kind of hear it, take it on board, and then move forward. And that was probably the kind of opening and the eye opener as such. And then the big switch. I think I did see myself changing just before I came.
Yeah.
But because again, like I said, I started to change certain aspects, but the big switch was coming here. 150%, million percent, whatever it is. Like, I can't stress it high enough. And it's not being in Dubai.
Yeah.
It's actually getting out of what I thought I knew.
Yeah.
And actually having a chance to actually not start again, but actually like work on myself. Yeah, be me. Yeah, that's it. Not being the person that the people expect me to be. Oh, Billy has to come out and we're going to go and party, or Billy has to do this, or now, you know what, I'm going to mess with it. He's going to come and help me, and something like I could just literally just relax.
Yeah.
And it helped me actually take reins in. And again, yeah, it was a transition in the first year that I was here. There was a lot of down, and trying to understand that, because again, I'm in a new environment all of a sudden.
There's so many different variables that are weighing it up as well. Like you're kind of like, oh, you don't really know. You can have like shiny magpie syndrome. You want to go out here.
So I definitely had that, because one of the things that I know we'll go into about like the alcohol side of things, but that was something that I had in my mind that I would start in 2021 when I went back to the UK. So I was going to come to Dubai, have my little period of time, and then I was going to go back. I had this new focus in terms of like work life. I recently signed a contract with the local council and the police, and it was to me to go into local communities and go and set up projects for children. Children who are not as fortunate as many of us, and actually caring about that and not just doing it for like the image side of things, or the, oh, I'll just take the money and go across. Like there was a genuine interest. It was a really exciting prospect, but again, COVID hit, changed the way that things would have happened there. And then, like I said, my housemate now, Mitch, like he was on my case from the first day I landed, even to the point of I remember picking up the phone to the guys back home who I accepted the role with. And I said, oh, mate, I think that was on Christmas Eve. And he was like, oh, no, forget about that, bro. You might as well just stay. And I was like, I just didn't get it. But like, the more now, and he knows I said it to him, like we have a laugh and a joke and stuff. But I have mentioned, I said, like, you know what, the fact that you told me that, I didn't understand it then. It took me some time.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you carried on just being persistent, because it gave me the chance to really, like I said, be who I want to try and be now. And like I said, it's just going from strength to strength.
That was a nice little push for you then. So I know you're saying about alcohol there, right? Yeah. So I know since you've, I think it's this year, you've literally stripped everything bare. Now I mean everything bare. Yep. So I want you to tell the listeners, what have you peeled back and what are you not doing right now?
So first one is alcohol, teetotal, done, finished.
So I'm gonna actually let's dig in a little bit deeper on the alcohol side. So I know, like obviously you're super aware and in touch with your feelings and how you feel with any kind of situation that you put yourself in. And do you think that is obviously a byproduct of not drinking now, because you've time to sit there and reflect and actually tease away how you're feeling without having a hangover?
Yeah. Basically, I'm able to work on things a little bit clearer. The head's clearer. I'm not now basing, like I said, as soon as I was happy, sad, or whatever, the first instinct would be, let's go have a drink, let's go out.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I get I get even higher to then drop back down, and then I haven't figured out like why that was happening. So that would probably be something that I would say had a big impact in terms of me being able to be a little bit more aware and actually listening to myself, not listening to others, not being influenced by others. And when I say that in terms of, like I said, if someone was to ring me for, do you want to go out? Do you want to do this?
Yeah.
I'd be running at instance, you know what, it sounds fun. But like now, I'll still go out. But now, actually, I'll go out when I want to go out. That's it. And I said, one of the things that I've decided to do is not drink. And it's not just a drastic decision, as drastic as it sounds.
Yeah.
It's been something that I thought about in I'd say from about 23, 24. And the mindset was always, when I get into some point in my 30s, the plan is to make sure that I don't drink anymore. I wouldn't say I was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
But again, it was the way to me to express my emotions even further. Gives you added confidence that's not really there. Feel better about yourself. If you are happy, you feel more happier. But again, it's all like false emotion, I would say, as well.
Yeah.
It's this false pretense, and you're thinking, oh yeah, this is me, this is what I'm doing. So I always said to myself, like my future self, I don't want to be that person that's relying on, like I said, to have a good time. It just has to involve drink or alcohol. I believe there's more to this world than that. Yeah. And again, I've got nothing against any of my friends that drink. They still drink now, go out with them, it's fine. They always say to me, how do you feel? Like, I said, no, not at all. Like, this is a me decision, but it will never impact you. And if I felt like they can't respect me not drinking when I'm around them, then that means that I need to step away from that environment because it doesn't serve me. Which before I would have this natural commitment or like the mindset to be like, you know what, I owe this person because he's my friend. They can't respect me. I'm not telling you not to drink or not to go on the way that you want to go on. That's entirely up to you. But respect me enough to say that's it. Like that's my decision to make. So
have people been very judgmental around you for that? Have you feel like you've had to explain yourself quite a lot?
You know what? This year's quite, yeah, I would say so. Such, but you know what? Like I said, even like me and my housemates, we talk quite a bit. As much as we like banter and stuff like. They respect me enough to like. They're not forcing upon it. We have a little laugh and a joke. Sometimes I said, "Oh, I'm gonna have a drink today," and like, no, I know you're not. Oh, yeah, go on, Bill, have a drink. Like that stuff, I don't mind that. That's just having a laugh and a joke. My friends back home didn't understand it. For them, it was like this big shock. What do you mean? So if we come to Dubai, you're not gonna have a drink, or when you come back home, we're not gonna. I said, no, I'm still me. I'm still gonna come out. I'm still your friend. You can drink, but if you can't respect that, then we won't go out and we won't drink and we won't do this and.
It's do you know what, like say the people that you have around you right now, they can see this as a gradual thing and they get used to it gradually, but the difference in between home is that they literally see you once per year, so they're like, whoa, who's this Billy that I've just met, you know, they see too much change in the one go, and that's why they can't process it, and they're probably over. They, you know, they judge you a lot more than like what your current friends are here in Dubai.
100%. Like I said, don't be wrong, I have to explain to people, because what do you mean? You're never going to do it again? And I said, yeah, never. Like, it's in my head that it's never like, don't get me wrong, everything doesn't work by the book. So something could happen that could.
You can always change your mind as
exactly,
well.
But that's what I mean. But I'm not entertaining that in my mindset. So in my mindset, there isn't you know what, I'll do this for 6 months, I'll do it for a year, and then I'll have a casual drink when I go out. Like, I don't want to entertain it. But like I said, my circumstances, my feelings, my emotions, the position that I'm in, the way that where I am in life. Can change my environment and how I want to kind of be. So that could change. But again, like I said, it's not something that's in my mind.
What kind of advice would you give someone now, like the listener, who's kind of seeking out the idea and dancing with the idea of being sober?
I'd say, listen, like for me, it was the best thing that I've done from so far. So again, like I said, it's an experience. I'm learning each month, each day, even each hour, just the changes that I'm seeing in myself. But essentially only do it if it's right by you. So don't listen to me or that person who said whatever. So like, it has to be a you decision, because with anything, if it's not a you decision, it might last for a little bit and then it's gone.
It's an all or nothing attitude.
That's it again.
It's like just a bit of a challenge.
That's it. It's a little like, I'll do it for 6 weeks, I'll do it for 8 weeks. Like, I've had periods of time where I haven't. And like I said, I'm not every weekend I was out and doing so as such as well. But it was just a conscious decision that I made. When I look at how, at the time when I had it, oh man, I felt top of the world. Like, I am like life apart. There's been a couple of scenes that the lads have probably seen and had fun with and stuff like that. And I've had fun with it. I don't regret it. But yeah, like where I'm trying to get to, I know I won't. And again, it's not no specific person as such, but many successful people that you hear about in terms of business, in mindset, in families and stuff like this, a lot of them do give up alcohol. They do go teetotal. Some of them introduce it back in gradually, where it's like, oh, I'm going to a party, I might just have like one drink and done. That's a casual, it's just more of a social aspect. And some completely strip out completely. And the changes that they made, that just, I wouldn't say that influenced me as such like that, but to see that someone has stuck it out and seeing the way they've done that, that also made me believe that, you can do this.
I think you nearly put, like, you press the fast forward button in terms of like self-development when you do kind of knock that out, because essentially it's a bit of a time suck. I think, every weekend you go out and then you're like catching up on yourself, and it is a time suck. I
feel like you're in that, like in the matrix, in a loop. You're just going back in circles. And I was saying the same thing again. In England, it was very hard to see anything different. So I worked Monday to Friday, and then the weekends let's go out. That was it. It was just work Monday to Friday, go out. So it's like an autopilot response. Most people finish the week, go out. Here, yes, that is still a concept to many people as well, but there is so much more to do that I can do with my time, whether it is to work on myself, whether it is to like go out and enjoy myself in an experience. Like, it doesn't have to involve alcohol for me to have a good time. And again, like I said, it might sound like I'm judging myself in my experience. To anyone else, you do what's good by you. If you feel like you can get on with life and you're getting on and you feel that you're in the right place and it serves you, then 100% keep doing it, enjoy it, go out every weekend. That's your decision to make.
Yeah.
But the same way that I respect that that's your decision to make, my decision was something that's not been just drastic. Like I said, it's been probably almost 10 years that it's been in the thought process that in my 30s at some point. And again, if I think about it going back, I was thinking I'd be 30. Then like I said, it would have been last year, but then I didn't. So it didn't work out the way that I thought. But because I was thinking about it, I just gradually pushed myself to that limit. And I was like, yeah, I'm done. And I'll kid you not, there's not even one urge in me that makes me go, oh, I'm missing out.
Yeah.
Not one single
That's amazing. That
feeling at all.
You know you're on the right path then, like, you know, you're enjoying life then.
Yeah.
That's it. Because that's it. I feel like I would have only missed out on alcohol was when I was not really enjoying my own life.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I said, I'm just seeing everything just like blossom. And it's a warm feeling. I said again, the reason why I hold on to that side of it, which again, I don't hold on to too long, is because I know what it feels like to not have that clarity and that meaning and that purpose, and to believe in yourself. And each day that passes, I'm believing more. I'm facing everything that's there instead of just letting it sit behind. And I think like I went out last week and I was in a party where everyone was drinking, bar myself. Yeah. And I had one of the best times ever. I had a good laugh, I was joking, having fun, dancing. So it didn't change anything about me. And they didn't even say anything. I remember getting a message after and saying, man, the fact that you wasn't even drinking, but you was having a laugh and joke, all my friends were talking to you, they could chat to you. Like it was a good environment to be in. So I was like, and if I didn't feel comfortable in it, I won't put myself in there. Where before I would force myself to be in situations. And now it's like, if it suits, if I feel comfortable and I want to do it, I'll do it. And if not, I move forward.
That's amazing. So the last one that I want to ask you.
Here we go. I was waiting for this one. Regular climax.
This is the main reason why you're on the podcast today. So I know you're living a bit of a monk life right now.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain that?
So basically, start of the year, it was something that I never thought about before, to be fair. But as I was getting towards the end of the year...
Break it down to the listener right now. No, you need to really break it down.
So literally, it was something towards the end of the year that I started thinking about. I'd say probably like November-ish, October, November, that it started. So I knew I was going to start drinking. That was definitely happening. And I started entertaining the thought, and I thought, you know what? This is something that I can do. This ain't a lifelong thing as well. But I decided to go teetotal and celibate. And when I say celibate, I mean like full, clean slate. No women, no masturbation, nothing is getting involved. And like I said, that's something that I made a big conscious decision to go with.
You had one pull of the plug since January.
Yeah. We'll go into that perspective, because again I'll break down the whole experience.
Whatever you want to identify plug as well.
It's fine. Yeah, one little plug pull, and then literally. But again, like I said, in the early days, it was like, I don't know, how this is going to work out. Again, it's something very, very unknown, very, very frowned upon. When I've spoken to anyone about it, it's like, what? What do you mean? And it's interesting because I like to speak about it, 100%. Yeah. And I welcome any of your questions that you have, like I said, in regards to that as I speak along. Again, when I say that I've gone teetotal celibate in terms of, like I said, no women, no masturbation, it's not a case of that I was overly masturbating or overly sexual, going out every week and sleeping around and that side of things. But it was a conscious decision that I made, in which, like I said, again, plugging and drawing everything back, stripping myself back clean. Yeah. There is no out. Now, you will deal with everything that you are facing. There's not, I'm stressed, I'll go and speak to that girl, or I'll go and have a drink, or, you know what, I don't feel so good, I feel frustrated, I'm going to go and masturbate. These sort of things. That's not in my mindset. No, it's a case of whatever you're facing, you will face it. There is no way out. Yeah. And that's before I was always looking for that someone to say, something to... Distraction. And this and that. And again, whether someone decides to practice celibacy, there's two types as well. Some people will still obviously pleasure themselves and go across with it. Some decide to go full, stripping it completely back, like I've done as well. But again, like I said, it's a case of, it's something I wanted to do. I don't know how long that process will go on for. So it's not a lifelong thing like how I entertain with the no alcohol as such. I'm a human being, it's a natural.
You want to have kids,
exactly. I don't know how. Yeah, exactly. So unless I've been heavenly blessed, yeah, that's not going to happen. But like I said again, like I know this side of things in terms of this was actually a chat we had with the lads again the other day and stuff, and we were speaking. I said, "Give me honest truth, what you think," because I like to hear what people think. And again, not to kind of change my thinking to it, but just kind of obviously just seeing that what people's perspective is of it. Like I'm not doing this for no one else, like I said. So whether they get it or not, it's up to myself. And
so what are the benefits that you've seen so far?
See again, people can say it could be a case of it's the no alcohol that you're probably getting the clarity from. Because
there's too many things that have changed in your life right now, so it's kind of hard to tease apart what is it.
For me, it's a case of I'm actually facing my emotions more as well. So like, for example, now, if you get excited, what's your natural occurrences to, like I said, is to relieve yourself, whether it's through like a partner, whether it's yourself or stuff like this. If you're stressed, again, like so now I have to actually face what's going on. There's no out game.
Yeah.
There is a case of, okay, and again, like I said, as much as I'm working on myself, it's not all been plain sailing. I do still have things that come into my mind and stuff like this. And now I'm actually facing things as they come along. One of the things I realised as well is, again, like I said, I wasn't some sort of like, was like a playboy who's out every week or sleeping with hundreds of women and that side of things. I know there's probably quite a few of them people in Dubai as such. That wasn't like my mindset. And even back home, I was always respectful, even if I was in that situation with people as well. But essentially, I realised when I was looking at some of the choices I was making with certain people and the type of partner I was choosing and stuff like that, again, I was letting it be based on, like I said, a lust or an emotion or something like that. It weren't really that I wanted to kind of do it, just did it because you're going to do that thing. How many times do you hear about people say, "Oh, I shouldn't have slept with that person," or why did I end up like masturbating, or these sort of things. Like you do get people that will have that kind of thing. Oh, why did I do that for? There's that kind of reaction. Not that I felt that every time that I was with a woman, or
but sometimes I think, like especially when you do have these kind of situations as well. Like some people, they think, oh, they want to have sex, and then it's like after they have it, it's kind of like, oh, why did that happen? Like a kind of emptiness kind of feeling some people do have. Now, other people are wired differently.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And this is this is what I respect. So I'm not saying anything that I'm doing is right, the right way to be in life, that this is the way of life, because the natural human nature, like nature is, like I said, that you do reproduce, you are a male and female, that's the way that you grow, and that's the lifestyle that I want to live. But even now as well, like I said, it's not, again, that's something that I wouldn't say it's anything that consumed me mentally as such. But again, I've just stripped out distractions to focus more on what I'm doing. But when I'm speaking to females now, like yourself now, it's having a conversation. I actually think you're going deeper, like you're taking everything in that someone's saying. And there's so many times when there is an interaction between male and female that not everything registers, because like I said, the other mind starts thinking.
The other mind between the legs.
The mind between the legs. It could be like, and it's not naturally. It's a case of like you being attracted to someone, but like I said, your mind can wander. You might just be like I said, focusing elsewhere. But because I'm so focused, I can actually listen to you.
Yeah.
Like I'm finally listening to myself, to other people, not just I'll take it in and done and let it sink in and not go across. So I think that's helped me as well. Like I feel like my relations, again, like I believe I have a lot of female friends, so I don't have that issue as such, whatever. And I've never ever even like my female clients and females in terms of like friends and like mates, partners and stuff like that. No one's ever felt uncomfortable around me. Like, I'm not that sort of person. So it's not like I've had to do this because I'm in serious demons and I'm overthinking about sex and masturbation and that side of things. But it was something that I wanted to do. Again, you can only help people when you help yourself. So whether it's something that will make a big drastic change, I'd like to think so. Yes, it will. Because even now, because I'm starting to value myself a little bit more, even the choice of partner that I make, whether it is transactional, that it ends up in that, whether it is someone that I settle down with, like, I don't actually want to be in that mindset of thinking, just, you know what, every time I speak to a woman, like, or in that mindset that it has to lead to something. It can just be as normal as, let's have a conversation and it's done. Sit down and be comfortable to actually listen to people's experiences. It can teach you a lot. And I probably didn't do that as much as what I could have in my earlier days. Take it on board and then just kind of move forward. I know how I need things to be or whatever. And I think that's going to help.
So I know the saying of if you don't use it, you
Yeah.
lose it sort of thing.
Yeah.
So do you not think that when you come out the other side of the coin, do you feel like maybe you'll be quite nervous to
Not
jump
really.
into?
Because now I'm talking about it openly and being open about it, and I believe in open relationships, whether it's your future partner or stuff like that. These are things, if you can actually be open with your partner and explain to them, look, I went through a period of time where I wasn't doing this.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of things, especially as guys, you have to be like, I'm the man, or I suppose it's a thing, both sides of the spectrum. So the fact that I'll be able to communicate clearly with my future partner, whether it's, like I said, in which relation I end up entering with him, it's for me to make sure that a clear communication line is there. And I don't feel it will be as challenging as what people say. So
it won't be challenging though, because ideally you're going to want to pick a female that is so self-aware that they'll understand.
And it will be and I feel like everything will improve the experience itself. The long-lasting the feeling that you get from it. So it's not just a kind of hearing that, I've just cured an urge. There's a lot more to it. And there's a little bit, again, like I said, I'm 32, turning 33. I don't see my life in my 40s, 50s going around and just going, you know what, I'll just casually go out and this. And I'm saying, that's part of life. Again, people do what's them. It's not to say that I haven't done that. And again, when I speak about celibacy and masturbation, this is one of the things that the lads mentioned, and this is why I'll point it up. It was like, it wasn't like you was like sitting in your room every day and masturbating or having sex, but I said, I understand that. And that's something that I'm making clear to people. But when you're trying to work on yourself, sometimes you've got too many things that you can kind of deal with as stuff, and you don't know where to go. And as soon as it gets stressful, so if I don't got alcohol now, but I was still, like I said, not celibate, I'd be thinking, you know what, I'm just going to start chatting to someone, or I'm just going to go and masturbate. I'm just going to relieve my tension that way, and then I'll be okay. But I'm not actually facing up to what I need to do. I'm trying to do this for my future self. My future partner will be great for this, my children, these side of things. And I know that it takes, I'm not starving myself from it. When I feel the time's right in this period of time, so it could happen next month, it could happen tomorrow, it could be next week, I will allow myself to obviously take the reins off as such, whether it is something that I do through just with myself, or whether it is something that I share an experience with someone else. That will be something that I will do. But it's not something that I'm starving myself from. So I don't sit here and go, I need to get in my room. Lads, I'm running, see you later, or I'm losing my head, or I'm getting angry, or anything like that. Or when I'm going out around females, I can't think of anything else but that interaction.
I feel like you're in a really good position right now, though, because the fact that you've removed all the distractions away from your life right now, you've done the kind of self-development that I would be dancing with the idea of whipping the Band-Aid off and maybe stopping this, though, no? Yeah,
but it's just for set. So I'm happy where I'm going. And like I said, now it is a case of, it's closer than it had been, say, 4 months ago. 4 months is a long time to, like I said, to be in that kind of, in that state of play. But it's not felt long while it was doing. When I look at it, when I reflect.
Because you were busy doing your own thing, you know?
And like I said, I'm not here to waste time. Many people do that when they come out to this country and just in general life, it's all right, I'll pass by and do that. That's not my intention. I don't have time to waste. I'm grateful with, like I said, the guys that I live with as well, because they got go-getter mentality as well. So it inspires you to say, not that, like I said, they're going celibate or they're not drinking as such, but it's that mindset of them, like they both strive to be the best versions of themselves as well. And that inspires me to want to be like the best version of myself. And I knew to do that I had to, for me, the best way that I was going to achieve that was by stripping everything back and going forward. And like I said, it could be tomorrow, it could be next week, it could be in a month's time. But like, I'm more open with the idea that it's more likely to happen, and I'm going to fall out of it. And whether I go back into a period of celibacy again, whether I go in that experience and say, look, I don't know. It will, when the time's right, I'll do it when it's right by me. I won't do it because someone's told me, I've been peer pressured into it. And the lads joke about it all the time. They'll say mad stuff like, go in your room, go out the one, like, Joe, you look angry, and they'll make jokes and stuff, and I laugh about it. You know what? Well, shall I get a bird round for you? Like, it seems like you're struggling, or stuff like that. And I'll have a joke and a laugh with them and stuff like that. But like I said, I will do it. It's not I'm not, like I said, that's me done and whatever, not. But right now, it is me done. And I will let go when it's time to let go.
And you can't put an expiry date.
That's what I said to her. So with the alcohol thing, I know I'm more sure about that than I am about what I'm doing here.
I think when you're more open-minded of not having an expiry date on it, it's easier to just stay in tune with it. You know,
I will decide when I'm like I could go out now next week. I'll be out in an experience, so like I'm chatting to a female, and you know, like one thing leads to another. You speak to them. It might lead to me meeting them again for it to go to that period. It might be that you react in a moment in which you feel that you want to express yourself that way. I might get through the week and go, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go in my room and go and have some fun. Do you know what I mean? Like that's fine, but I'll do it when it's right. But I don't feel like I'm starving. Like I don't feel like I'm struggling. I don't have a moment in my mind, my brain that's going to be, oh man, I need to do something. Like I don't have that feeling. I kid you not. There's no itchy feet. There's nothing like that. I can see a female and say she's attractive. Yeah. I can see them visually and see that, but that's it. It doesn't have to go any deeper than that.
Let me ask you a question now, because you're kind of been off the market now. I feel like you've probably become a lot more attractive to females. Have you had a lot more attraction?
I was saying this conversation. I was chatting to one of my clients about because they were asking me a little bit about it, and I'd say in probably the last like 3-4 weeks, the type of conversations that I'm having now with people, not as in my side, but the way that these people are obviously speaking to me, I'm more aware of how they're speaking to me and such. Yeah. Like, you know, if someone likes you or they're interested or whatever. But now when you're having these chats, you can tell, like it's clear, the picture's clearer. Yeah. So you're like, oh wow, like yeah, they really are. But then I'd still say I'm slightly dismissive in that way. Like, you entertain the eye for a bit, but I go, no, I'll do it when I'm right. Like stuff like that. And you could say, oh well, you might miss the moment. But I'm not living for the moment anymore. Yeah. I'm living for, like I said, each day as it comes, and what's meant to be will be. Yeah. Where before I would live for the moment, it's just like, oh man, that person's showing an interest, I gotta do something. No. But it's like, it's nice because I can just, like I said, sit down, have a chat, be expressive. I'm an open book, and I'm comfortable in being more open in terms of that, and I'm learning a lot more about that. So yeah, definitely, like I said, I can see that, and I'd say probably even in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks and stuff like that. Even like I was seeing blowing up. The conversation, but when people know as well that you're not available, it's crazy the way that the mindset changes. And it wasn't like, I wouldn't say that I was, when I was available, that I was in the horrors or struggling in that sense and stuff like that. But it's just that I've never ever wanted to kind of be that person that has been transactional, just going from one person to the other. Like I've had them experiences, I've been the lad, like as such and stuff like that. But it never filled me with no fulfillment or anything that was like that, and that's something that I learned. So
the quality of women is going to change as well. That are going to.
And this is another thing that I say to myself: like, do you start messing with good energy, you're going to get good energy women coming around you as well. So that's why I'm doing this. But essentially, like I said, you're now encouraging the right behavior, the right person. That's mean by it, and you're not just speaking to like just anyone who's just like living for the weekend or anything like this. Even like some of the conversations I had with some of the females, like there's some like real like boss girls like doing their thing, like they're sure about themselves, and I think, wow, like these are the sort of people I'm talking to now, not just like with maybe the lads in a phrase, man, WBRs, like just do you know what I mean? Like what's that? I don't know if I should reveal one, but just say that. Tell me. I can't say the full thing. Just let me put like just your typical Dubai girl, basically. Like, do you know what I mean? Like. That has context as I'll go across with it, but like that's what I mean. Like you change your vibe, you change the people that you're messing with, even the friends that you're meeting, the people that you make contact and speak to.
It's funny when you even say that, because like I look at the lads that I've dated since the first year of Dubai to like now, even it's just like the difference in terms of like what these guys are doing. It's just way different now. You don't even look in that direction. It's you feel so removed from it now. Like,
and that's like I said, a big important part. Even like it sounds great, but I see my manager changing, because even like the way my business is improving and the opportunities that are coming my way. They're like goal-getter opportunities. Went to one today. And
it's important that you celebrate these little wins, because you know when you get to this stage and your baselines after getting your thresholds after getting so high and like what you expect of yourself, it's like it's hard to kind of remind yourself to be like, actually, do you know what, this is fucking win, you know?
And this is it now. Like before, I'd be over-consumed with wins or losses or something like that. Where now it's like, well done, you, keep going. Well done, you, keep going. I'm reaffirming myself. You deserve this. You will deserve it. You keep going. Don't give up. You got this. And that's that focus there. And again, I might sound quite sure when I'm speaking on the mic and stuff. I'm a lot surer than what I have been. But I also respect myself to know that you don't need to have it all figured out. And that's probably the biggest enlightening experience of it all. Thank the Almighty, thank Spirit, thank the universe, like even what's been set upon me now. I accept every single thing from every challenge that I've had to where I'm going now. Man, it's an exciting time. Like, I can't even tell you how warm I feel inside thinking about like what can potentially happen for me and the people I want to be around. And I'm valuing myself for the first time in my life. And I'm realising that by the last 4 months and how it's going, 100%. And it's opening up a big eye-opener to me. And even seeing things when I look back home and seeing where everyone's just doing the same thing and stuff like that. And even the people that I thought I'd miss or whatever, to know that they're just, they are them and they're not going to change. They don't have to change, that's fine. But I'm not missing anything.
It just gives you that reassurance and what you're doing.
That's it. Everything that you're doing is right and it's going to serve you right, and you're going to only keep climbing and keep going higher and higher and higher. And that's something, like I said, that's a big buzz. Like that's bigger than any buzz I could tell you. Like when you become sure and the confidence builds up, it's amazing.
Do you know what? I've absolutely loved having you on today. Like, I really have. You've been absolutely amazing. I can see we're now down.
Oh wow, that's a long podcast.
But before we go, I just want to ask you one question because I know this is the question that I always ask everyone on my podcast. So, as it's called the Detached Podcast, I want to ask you, what would you detach yourself from right now that's holding you back?
I think most of the things that I wanted to detach myself from, I've already kind of done. So like I said, alcohol, women, like emotion to an extent. So they're things that I've already kind of stepped on. So I must have known I was coming on this show 4 months later, because even like I said, the conversation I'm having with you now, if we was to sit down again in I'd say like 3-4 months time, I do believe there will be a big, massive change again, because the shift is happening now.
That's why I was asking you, like, who am I introducing today? Who's the Billy that I'm speaking to today? Because it changes so much.
It will. You know? And that's something that I'm embracing. But like, to be honest with you, other than my housemates, no, I detach myself from. But honestly, like I said, I'm grateful for everything that's presenting itself its way. And it's something now that I'm not afraid to detach myself from now. Yeah. So whatever it is that doesn't serve me, I will detach as it comes along the way, as opposed to saying, I need to detach away from this. Okay, do you know what? It could be a little cheeky snack that you need to detach yourself from. There has to be something that... Little snack. Pringles. Because anytime I see you, you always have a little snack. The Pringles. But to be fair, the last week and a half, I've just gone back onto everything being peeled back again, my head and my mind focused being in a good way. Yeah. But usually sweets and snacks, usually a bad one. And our household, it's like living with kids sometimes, man. Someone's eating Pringles, someone's eating chocolate, someone's got sweets. And then you see them and you're like, oh, man, you know what? You get a little whiff of the Pringles. Or you get a whiff of the sweets and the chocolates, and then that just sets off that little inner child. But again, self-control. We're human beings now at the end of the day, so you can't strip everything. Come on. And that's that. Before we go as well, exactly that. Like I said, if things don't work out the way that they're meant to be, so okay, fair enough. For example, I've just sitting down, no crisps, no chocolate. I'm going across. If I want to have one, I will have one. I'm listening to myself now. So there's no kind of strip everything back and just be plain and bare. You need to have something about you, and we are human beings, and we're on this earth for a reason, and you need to enjoy that experience. So before you go, anyway, where can we find Billy? So we have got Billy on Instagram. We have got Billy on Twitter. So do you want to tell everyone who's your Instagram? Do you know what? I've just seen. Is it The Life of Coach Billy? The Life of Coach Billy. I've had a few Instagrams, so I'll put the link on the bottom. Instagram, and then I've got a Twitter as well. So if you ever need that, pick me up in the morning for a nice little motivational quote. Yeah. The lads always thank me for that every morning, waking up with a big smile on their face. So and soon we're having a website as well. So keep you guys posted. Do you know what? It's actually been such a pleasure and the easiest hour and 13 minutes that I've actually spent with anyone. Honestly, it was, really has been. And honestly, I really appreciate this conversation today, and I think it's going to be super helpful for anyone who's tuned in today. So, guys, if you did like this podcast as well, please hit me with a review, subscribe, share on Instagram as well, because I want to grow this as much as possible. Yeah, man, do all of that. So we can obviously spread the good vibes as well. So I just want to say thanks again. No, thank you for having me on. It's been a really enlightening experience, and I'd say that this won't be your last. Yeah, definitely. All right, thanks again. Bye. See you later. Take care. Bye.